Hello and welcome again to SchoolOfFlash.com. In today's tutorial, I'm going to take another look at the new 3D features of Flash CS4 to show you how you can create a simple graphic of a planet. Okay, so we're going to choose the oval tool here to create our planet. I'll choose it from up here. We'll choose a fill color, something planety, something green or brown or something like that, doesn't matter. So there's our planet there. Actually, I'm going to hit Control Z to undo that because what we want to do is we want to put a thick ring around it. And we're going to create that ring in a very creative way by adding a stroke to our shape. So for now, I'm just going to choose this red color for the stroke, and we'll decide how thick we want that stroke to be here in a minute. I'm going to draw a circle about yay big. We'll hit V to switch to the selection tool, double click on the circle to select the stroke and the fill, and then just nudge it over here to the center. And you might have to experiment with this a couple of times to get the sizing right, but what we want to do now is click on the stroke and increase the size of the stroke. This stroke is going to end up being the ring around the planet. So we want to make it thick enough, and then once we make it thick enough, you'll notice that it's actually encroaching in on the green space here. So you want to bring this in until the green space that you have left is the size that you want for the planet itself. So that looks like about what I'm wanting for this particular effect. So now I'm going to convert this stroke here to a fill. So we're going to, with that stroke selected, we're going to go to Modify, the Modify menu. It's just outside of the video recording area, but it's the Modify menu we're going to here. We'll go to Shape, and we'll click on Convert Lines to Fills. So now this red stroke is a fill, and if we click outside, you'll notice that that each of these is a fill. And if we click and drag the circle away, you'll see that the circle is smaller than it originally was because it has intersected with this other fill. So let's hit Control Z to move that back where it was. And then I want to move this circle to its own layer. So I'm going to right click on it and click on Distribute to Layers, and that will send it to its own layer just below the layer with the ring on it. So layer 2 is where we need it. I'm going to go to layer 1 now, click on this ring, and hit F8 to convert it to a symbol. I'm going to make it a movie clip symbol, and I'll just call it a ring, and click on OK. So now we're going to click on this ring and use the 3D rotation tool to rotate it. So it's easiest to rotate it, I think anyways, using this outer orange circle here, because that outer orange circle allows you to freeform rotate it on all axes at the same time. So if we click anywhere on this orange ring and start dragging around, you'll see that we can create some 3D transformations here. So I'm going to drag around until I get the shape I'm looking for, and that looks pretty good. So I'll release, and there we go, we've created the ring. And now we just need to make it so that the ring is actually going behind the planet. So I'm just going to make another copy. We could do this using a mask, but I'm going to do this by making a copy of the top half of the planet here. So I'm going to go back to the selection tool, click on the planet, Control C, Command C on the Mac to copy it, and then we'll create another layer above our rings layer. Let's go ahead and label these. This will be rings, this will be planet, and this will be the other planet layer. Okay, so with the new planet layer on top of the rings layer, we're going to hit Command, Shift, and V to paste the planet that we copied. If you're using a PC, it'll be Control, Shift, and V, and it will paste it in place where you copied it from. And then we'll click outside to deselect it, jump to the Eraser tool, and let's go ahead and choose a larger, actually that's the largest brush size, so with that brush, we'll just paint over the bottom ring so that it will appear in front of the planet. And actually we might need to, let's hit Control Z to undo that. We need to lock the bottom layer first. Let's lock the planet layer and the rings layer, and then with the top planet layer selected, we can click and paint across, and there we go. So we'll just erase everything where the ring is passing in front of the planet. I want to make sure you get all that. And There we go. So we've created a planet with a ring around it in a few simple steps. So now we can really make this stand out by adding some gradients. So we can select the ring around the planet here, and we need to unlock that layer first. We can double click on that ring actually to go into that movie clip. And when you go into the movie clip, you won't see the 3D transformation there. You'll just see the original shape. And this is the really cool part. We can open up the color panel here, and instead of a solid fill with this shape still selected, I'm going to change this from solid to radial. This is going to be a gradient that will pass from different colors from the inside to the outside. So we can adjust this gradient however we want to. We can change the colors, move them around. Let's make this one maybe an orange color. Might put some yellow in here. Let's click down here to add another handle, and let's make that handle bright yellow. And then you can just space these out and keep an eye up here to see how this is affecting the ring. And then once you come up with something that looks good, you might spend a little more time on it than that. This isn't wonderful by any means. You can click outside to deselect that. And then when we go back to scene 1, by clicking on scene 1 up here on the edit bar, you'll see that those transformations have been made to the 3D shape. Very, very cool. Now the planet, in my opinion, looks a little bit too big for this particular shape, so I'm going to lock the rings layer, unlock both planet layers, and then click and drag around both planet layers, because we want to transform both of these at the same time, because we have shapes that are similar, or this top shape is similar to the bottom shape, so we want to make sure we transform both at the same time. So I'm going to click around here to select both layers, and then I'll hit Q to switch to the free transform tool, and then just reshape that down a little bit. And then we might have to do some erasing again unless we nudge it up here. And there we go, that looks pretty good. And grab the ring layer. I'm going to move that down a little bit, like so. And in a few simple steps, we've created a really cool looking planet that was really easy to do. And I'll go ahead and do this too. Using another new feature of Flash, we can create some stars in the background. So I'm going to change the background color here to dark spacey blue. We can see that there's actually a little bit of this shape down here that's covering up. So I'm just going to lock both layers except for the top layer. With the top layer still unlocked, I'll click down here, and you'll see that there's actually a section of this top shape that we didn't erase. We'll just delete that, and that looks good. So we can unlock everything again. And now, underneath the bottom planet layer, we're going to create a new layer. We'll drag it to the very bottom. We'll lock all the top layers here. We'll choose maybe a bright yellow for the fill color, and then I'll use the spray brush tool, which is located underneath the paintbrush tool. So we use the spray brush tool. We're going to spray the default shape with a color of this light yellow color, and we can click and spray across in order to get this starry effect, but that doesn't look very good. So let's hit Control Z to undo that, and we'll go back to that spray brush tool, and we'll click on random scaling, and then we'll try that again, and now they're all going to be different sizes. So you can play around with that a little bit in order to get it to look like what you want, but that's how you can create kind of a space scene in a few simple steps. Now I realize this doesn't look great. We could probably spend a little more time making the planet look better and making the rings look better by changing that gradient, but you get the basic idea. So hopefully that's helped you a little bit to understand some of the new things that we can do using the 3D tools in Flash CS4.